Growing up, I played a lot of shareware, or demo versions of games. You know, those games where they only give you the first couple of levels and then tell you where to send your money if you want the whole thing?
Shut up and take my money!
I would never experience the full version of these games until many years later when they became abandonware. One of the first games I had this experience with was One Must Fall 2097. I always thought that intro was like the coolest thing ever for some reason as a kid. I don't know, maybe I'm just a dumb kid. Developed in 1994 by Epic Mega Games, who would later become Epic Games, the developers of the Unreal Engine, Gears of War, and a little game you may have heard of called Fortnite. There's two different modes of gameplay, one-player mode and tournament mode. One-player mode is the game's story mode. Here you'll pick one of 10 pilots with different attributes, and then one of 10 robots, each with a different moveset. There's different endings and dialogue between the fighters before each fight, depending on which character you pick. But you'll probably have no idea what the anyone's talking about unless you read the manual. Yes, game developers back then thought people actually read the manuals. For those of you who don't feel like reading a novella, basic plot is as follows.
Well, this is going to take a long time, so you may want to get some snacks.
No, that's all right. I think I can wait for it.
Well, I'm going to get food.
In the year 2097, governments are puppets of the multinational corporations. The biggest of these is World Aeronautics and Robotics. War. Ganymede, the last of Jupiter's moons to be colonized, he's a representative of war. Unable to choose between the candidates, the board decides that they will fight in a tournament using the company's human-assisted robots as their weapon.
Is that really the backstory?
There's more to it. There's also Project Nova, a mysterious project shrouded in mystery by the mysterious Major Krycek. And,
There is a lot of interesting lore if you're willing to take the time to read it, but the game mode you'll be spending the most time with is Tournament Mode. Here you'll create your own pilot and spend money you earn winning in tournaments to upgrade your pilot and robot. How well you do in the fight determines how much money you make and how disappointed in you your trainer or whatever this guy is, as you'll have to pay for the damages on your robot. As you progress, you'll be able to trade in your starting robot for other ones, including an 11th playable robot that isn't available in one-player mode.
The Nova, the most OP robot in the entire game. It's got grenades, it's got rockets, and a reach that spans half the screen. None can escape its grasp. None can match its might. All shall love me understand.
After you complete a tournament, you won't be able to progress unless you enter a new tournament. You can play through the tournaments in any order, and you can play the same tournament an infinite number of times. But I recommend playing them in the order of easiest to hardest, which is North American Open, Katushi Challenge, War Invitational, and World Championship. If you find that you're perpetually getting your robot butt scattered across the floor, you can, and probably should, restart the tournament or enter an easier tournament. You'll start back at the bottom seed, and there's no penalty other than the entrance fee. Whether you choose to play single player or tournament mode, the gameplay is the same.
It was the year 1994, a simpler time, and fighting games were straightforward, simple, and accessible.
Nowadays, the barrier for entry is greater than the Great Wall of China! But I digress. There's only one button for punch and one button for kick. Pressing the direction towards your opponent and punch or kick does a light attack, no direction is a medium attack, and away from your opponent is a heavy attack. Pressing away from your opponent while they attack will block. This can be done from a standing or crouching position. Each of the robots has 3 special moves, except for the Shadow, which has 4, well, go figure, that can be executed by a combination of directions and attack buttons. They're all pretty simple to execute and figure out. The names of the special moves are printed off to the side in tournament mode and in the manual, assuming you read the thing, which gives you hints about how to execute them. The little meter below the health bar is the stun meter. If it gets depleted, you or your opponent will be unable to attack or move for a few seconds. Mashing the attack buttons will cause you to recover faster. The pilot has 3 main stats: power, or how hard you hit stuff, agility, how fast you move, and endurance, how many hits you can take. In one-player mode, these are predetermined by which pilot you select, but in tournament mode, these can be upgraded, in addition to stats for your robot. Your robot has power and speed upgrades for the arms and legs, or whatever it has in place of those, armor, and stun resistance. Fights will take place in one of 5 arenas, each with different hazards. The power plant, which has electric fences on the edges. The fire pit, where fireballs will shoot out from under the floor every time you hit a holographic ball that's floating around the stage. The desert, which has fighter jets that shoot at you for no reason. The danger room, which has spikes that protrude out of the walls. And the stadium, the only arena that doesn't have hazards. After each fight, a reporter, who I'm honestly not sure if it's a guy or a girl, will talk about the match. They only say about 5 different things, so it gets really repetitive and you'll probably just skip over these. I feel like I should mention that the game does have 2-player mode. If you feel like sharing the keyboard with a friend, you also have the option of using a joystick, which are a little bit awkward. There's also the option for network play, 1994 style. Or you can connect 2 computers via a serial port, which never, ever works, ever. As I mentioned earlier, growing up, I played a lot of shareware, or demo versions of games. I grew up on the shareware version of this game. The version I played as a kid, only the Jaguar, Shadow, and Thorn were playable. Only the North American Open Tournament was playable. And the only stage was the power plant. You could only pick the top 5 pilots and 1 player, and the final fight was locked out. Yet my older brother and I still played the heck out of this game. Imagine my delight when in 1999 the developers made the game into freeware, and the game could now be downloaded for free.
6.5 hours later.
At long last, all of the content that was merely teased to me was finally within my grasp.
Got a little carried away there. Sorry. Moving on! The game runs well in DOSBox. Just be sure to lower the cycles to around 2000 and adjust the game speed in the options or the pause menu. Otherwise, it'll be moving so fast your brain won't be able to process what's going on.
What happened?
If you're a fan of retro video games like me, I highly recommend you give One Must Fall 2097 a try.